Morai v'Rabotai, our sages teach us. They tell us, Le'olam lo zaza shechina mikotel ha'ma'aravi. Hashem's presence has never left and never will leave the Western Wall. The Kotel will always have a certain extra dosage of spirituality, an extra dosage of Kedusha that any man or woman could feel if he or she desires. But on top of that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God promised that the Western Wall will never be destroyed. It would always stay intact. And indeed, Baruch Hashem, here we are today, after all these wars in Eretz Yisrael, after all the destruction in Yerushalayim, Baruch Hashem, the Kotel HaMa'aravi is standing tall with millions upon millions of visitors year in, year out, praying, crying, connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, connecting to God. But, Morai v'Rabotai, Lemaaseh, at the end of the day, the Western Wall isn't the goal. It's a nice zikaron, it's a nice, remembrance of what it used to be like, what it looked like, but that's not what we're looking for. Ultimately, Morai v'Rabotai, the Bet HaMikdash is what we need and what we have to search for and what we have to yearn for. So what do we have to do as we go year after year having this, you could call this a beautiful event that we have over here, but it's an event we'd rather not have over here. We'd rather Tisha B'Av not be a day of fasting, rather a day of simcha, a day of joy for all of Am Yisrael. So ma alenu la'asot, what do we have to do, Morai v'Rabotai? I want to read to you a very famous Gemara. In Gemara, in Gittin, Daf Nun Zayin, famous Gemara, you all heard it before, if not once, twice, 3 times, but it's worth repeating for the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, listen very carefully. Ma'aseh be'arus v'arusato. There was a story of a couple that was engaged. Baruch Hashem, Mazal Tov, Mabruk, they're engaged. No greater moment than that. But, says the Gemara, Shenishbu ben ha'ovdei kochavim. Their beautiful engagement ceremony, that period of feeling connected before the wedding, unfortunately was ruined because the couple was taken captive. They were taken as hostages. Says the Gemara, V'yisium zeh lazeh. As the Maharsha explains, apparently there were other Jews that were captive as well. They had a minyan of men. They had 10 men over there. And therefore they were able to actually get married in that location, in captivity. Not necessarily the most romantic way of getting married. But, Morai v'Rabotai, it happens. They get married. Amra lo, the wife tells the husband, Bevakasha mimcha, I ask of you, I plead from you, al tiga bi. Don't come close to me, don't touch me. Why not? They have chuppah, kiddushin, what's the problem? They had a wedding. Why not? Because she'en li ktuva mimecha. Because I don't have a ktuva from you. She doesn't have the marriage document. And we know the Gemara tells us, without a ktuva, a man and a woman are forbidden to each other. So here we have a couple that's engaged, taken into captivity. They actually get married, but she says, back off, there's no ktuva. Apparently no one knew how to write it, whatever the reason may be. Says the Gemara, V'lo nagaba ad yom moto. He did not have any physical contact with her till the day he died. Ukshemet, once he passed away, Amra lahen, she said to the other Jews that were there in captivity, Sipdu lazeh, please, when you eulogize my husband, when you eulogize this individual, you should say, Shepitpet beyitzro yoter mi Yosef. He was able to fight his Yetzer Hara better than Yosef HaTzadik. Why? דאילו ביוסף לא הווה אלא חדשעתה. By Yosef HaTzadik, he had that one challenge with that woman, when she trapped him, but that was one challenge when they were alone. But v'hai kol yoma v'yoma, but my husband, he had this challenge every single day. Furthermore, she says, v'ilu Yosef b'chad hamita, v'hai b'chad hamita. V'ilu Yosef lav ishto, v'hai ishto. She gives a few examples of how her husband's greater than Yosef. And she ends up by saying, Yosef had to fight off a woman that wasn't his wife. So it's a little easier to fight off an Avirah when it's so blatantly an Avirah. But my husband had to fight off his wife. You can always rationalize, my wife, it's mutar, beseder, not a big deal. She basically said, my husband was greater than Yosef HaTzadik. And Morai v'Rabotai, I think we could all agree, what her husband did was a tremendous act of courage, of yirat shamayim, of self-control. He and his wife together. The Gemara brings down many other stories here. Let's just read the last few lines. It says the Gemara, "U'me'achar dehavu tzadikim kuliyah." Look at these tzadikim, so righteous. Why did they have to suffer? Such a couple with such yirat shamayim, such self-control, following halacha. Why did they have to get engaged? Take the captivity, can't even, makorepo, such righteous people suffering. Says the Gemara, why did this happen to them? And the Gemara says, Amar lei mishum de lo haibul al Yerushalayim. Because they did not mourn over the destruction of Yerushalayim. They did not cry over Churban Beit HaMikdash. Morai v'Rabotai, what's the Gemara telling us here? Major lesson here. Phenomenal lesson. Scary lesson. But it's a lesson we could all take and really build on it. The Gemara is telling us, if a person does not mourn the destruction of Yerushalayim, Hashem will give him a different reason to mourn. If a person is not pained or bothered by not having the Beit HaMikdash, then Chas v'Shalom Hashem will give you something else to be pained over, something else to be bothered by. Everyone on his own level, on his or her own level, has some sort of suffering in life. It could be not finding a shidduch, shalom bayit issues with their children. It could be financial, it could be health, Rahman al-San. Morai v'Rabotai, maybe, if we would just add a little more pain and sorrow over Yerushalayim and the Beit HaMikdash, maybe that would diminish some of the personal sorrow that we have, some of the personal suffering that every single one of us goes through in a lifetime. So you might be asking, Rabbi, so what do we do? What do you mean? How do we get bothered by Yerushalayim? What do we have to do exactly? Is there a method? Is there something we have to think about? Something we have to do every single day? I'll give you guys a very simple mashal, a parable, that has very practical applications. Listen carefully, Morai v'Rabotai. There was once a king who had many advisors, many servants, people that were dedicated to him. But there was this one guy that was always giving him timely advice. He was always serving him faithfully. He was basically his right-hand man. This is the right-hand man of the king. Now this guy, Morai v'Rabotai, one day, after decades of service, after decades of friendship, he was caught conspiring with the enemies. This right-hand man of the king was giving over secrets to the enemy territory, putting his own country at risk. The king finds out about this, and of course, when you do such a thing, what's your verdict? Chayav mitah. It's death penalty. But comes along the king and he says, Rak rega, he says, 1 second. This guy has been so close to me for all these years. We've had a brotherly relationship. I needed him 2 in the morning, he was there. I needed him to leave at the most important times of his life. He left. I needed him to risk his life. He risked. He made a major blunder. He was bribed. He did it. He deserves death, but I can't. We're too close. Instead of giving him a death sentence, says the king, I want to put him in prison. Give him a long prison sentence, and hopefully this guy regrets, repents, I'll let him out after a while. Okay, so they have the court case. The guy was shocked to hear he's not getting killed. They put him in prison. They give him a small prison cell, mamash tiny with a tiny bathroom, with a 4-inch mattress, bread and butter every single day for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Not the greatest situation, but you know what? It's better than death. And Be'emet, he was there every single day crying and pleading with the guards. I regret it. I didn't mean it. Please give me another chance. Tell the king in my name I love him. I'll go back to the old days. But a week goes by, and a month goes by, and a year goes by. It's 2 years and the same condition. He has that small bathroom with the 4-inch mattress, bread and butter for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Can't go outside, no activities, suffering. But after constantly begging and pleading, let me out of here. Finally, the king sends his servants, his messengers, to go talk to this prisoner. The prisoner sees him, he's excited. Baruch Hashem, the time has come for me to leave. He stands up, excited. And he tells him, is it time? Is it time? And they say, no, sir. Not close to leaving yet. But, the king agreed to give you better conditions. We're getting you a private bathroom. We're getting you a nice bed. You have a menu to choose from for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Sports activities. You can watch Torah in time. You could do a lot of things over there. We'll give you what you want, what you need. The guy's ecstatic. Wow, thank you so much. Unbelievable. And Be'emet, every day he's getting better conditions. And he's getting more kavod. And he's playing ball. And he's getting inspired. He's enjoying the foods. But guess what happens? Now that he has better conditions, he stopped asking the prison guard, please tell the king to let me leave. He was actually enjoying himself. He was actually getting settled. He was appeased. And Be'emet, a week, a month, a year, and the same conditions, not a word to the prison guard saying, tell the king, get me out of here. So what did the king have to do? Morai v'rabotai. He's getting too comfortable. Let me take him back to the original situation. And then, once again, he was pleading, and he was begging, please get me out of here. Morai v'rabotai. Just think about it for a second. Here we are. Baruch Hashem. We're living in beautiful times. If you go back a number of years, go back to Europe in the 1940s, Hashem Yirachem, Yemach Shema, the Nazis, what they did over there. You go further back in time to what happened in Spain and what happened in different parts of the Middle East. We see so many times the Jews were prospering and the Jews were suffering. And when we were suffering, we were begging Hashem for the Geulah. We need Mashiach now. But then when things got better, and we got acclimated to society, and we had jobs, and we had homes, next thing you know, we're happy, Baruch Hashem. We're good. We're happy with what we have. But then again, some more tragedies. Oh, please Hashem, we need Mashiach now. And it just goes, it's a cycle that seems to repeat itself over and over again. Morai v'rabotai, let's not be like that person that's complacent, who has his priorities wrong. It's not about enjoying yourself in prison. It's about what? Always not losing sight of the goal, getting out of the prison, getting out of the galut, getting out of this long and gruesome exile. You know, as we sit here today, Baruch Hashem, our community, Morai v'rabotai, is flourishing. B'lei ein hara. We have beautiful community centers. We're rebuilding this building. We have homes, letiferet, and cars, and clothes. Whatever you could ask for, Baruch Hashem, we have in this country, we have in this community. And I'm sure it's like this, Baruch Hashem, in communities around the world. But, Morai v'Rabotai, we seem sometimes a little too comfortable. We're too relaxed. We're happy with the status quo. Baruch Hashem, Shtabach Shem Olad, look what Hashem gave us. And we thank Hashem, but it doesn't seem like we're requesting for the next step. We're not saying, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, thank you. We're not saying thank you, but it's not sufficient. It seems like it is sufficient. And if anything is not sufficient, it's maybe the size of our house, we want it to be bigger. Maybe the model of our car, we want it to be better. That's what we're requesting from Hashem. Morai v'Rabotai, we should enjoy what we have. We should be grateful for what we have. Of course, we have to be nothing wrong with that. But don't lose sight of the goal. Don't forget the focus. Now, how do we build a Bet HaMikdash? What do we have to do exactly? We can't just go and start putting bricks and stones. What are we going to do? Morai v'Rabotai, the Gemara tells us, the Chachamim tell us Hashem could have destroyed Am Yisrael as a nation. We as a nation could have been destroyed, Chaz v'Shalom. But instead, he took out his wrath and anger on what? On wood and on stones. He destroyed the building and did not destroy the people. So if HaKadosh Baruch Hu destroyed the building to keep the people alive, that means our job is to keep the people alive, not just physically, but spiritually, in order to get the building back. We have, just in our community, Morai v'Rabotai, everyone sitting over here, you all have a family member that needs to be inspired. We all have a neighbor that's not keeping the basics. We all know someone. Every single one of us knows someone. You have a job to do outreach. You don't have to be an organization, Chazak or Esha Torah. You don't have to be any, you could be an individual and do outreach. You could do things on your own. You don't have to be the greatest speaker. You don't have to have the greatest mind. You simply have to have the determination, the want, the will. It's simply inviting your friends to come to the Bet HaKnesset, to come to the shul. Tell them about websites like Torah Anytime or Hidabrut. Let them know about these things. Let them know it exists. Bring them to different programs that Chazak has throughout the community. It's only simple awareness. Let them know about it. Morai v'Rabotai, you want to build the building? Then start working on the people. The statistics are not on our side. Just in our community here, we have so many kids in public schools, Hashem Yishmor. We have so many kids that are very innocent. The parents are good parents, I'm sure, but they don't know the importance of giving their child a Jewish education. And every single one of us definitely has a relative, a friend, a neighbor that's currently in public school. They just say, Chai, it's okay. Eventually they go to shul, they'll find a way. Just like I became religious through public school, they'll become. Don't rely on miracles. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to build a Bet HaMikdash, start building people. Take those kids, talk to those parents, encourage them to go to yeshivot. You know, recently, my younger brother Yaniv Shea Bari, who does an amazing job, Be'emet L'Shem Shamayim, in trying to organize all these programs for Chazak throughout the community, he started this initiative to put public school kids in yeshivot. And he has a few men and women on staff that will make the calls for you. All you have to do is say, here is the name of the mother, here's the name of the father, here's the name of the child, he's currently in PS Kach V'Kach, and we will try to make the shidduch between the family and the school. Morai v'Rabotai, every single person, it's only 2 more weeks where we have heavy duty enrollment of the kids, because school starts in September. So every single one of you, just make the phone call, reach out. It's a free service. We're not going to charge you for the service. Just make the call, Morai v'Rabotai, and get people involved. There's many good yeshivot out there that have seats available in their classrooms and they have very high education, Baruch Hashem. It's all about us reaching out, making the phone call, knocking on the door. And Bezrat Hashem, if we take these things to heart, be bothered by seeing other Jews not following the path. When you're bothered and you do something, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, oh, I'll give you the nice house, I'll give you the nice car, but you know what? I won't take it away from you because you also care about what's important to me. So Morai v'Rabotai, let's take this initiative, let's take these things to heart. And Bezrat Hashem, the more people we inspire, the more zechuyot you have, and the greater chance we have that this upcoming Tisha B'Av, we will not have to be in Beit Gavriel, although it's a beautiful construction, but we won't need the construction, and we'll have Bezrat Hashem, the building and the construction of the Beit HaMikdash. B'mehera b'yameinu, amen ve'amen.